This is a beta test, checking to see how my voice would sound on video and how my demeanor would look, what my I know I can cut this later as I go along, so I won't be stumbling over my words, of course, but something like, how would I present myself? How does my presentation come off? I know, ego. All I hear is ego. Fear of what people will think of me. But anyway, so part one of this, it's like a full, like a summary, a short summary of what I've come across recently in my journey of healing, my journey of researching. I've been researching for years, but more so recently, things have been looking, feeling, and seeming different for me. Interactions with people. I don't recognize people as genuine anymore. I guess I used to have a sort of naivety where I was just believed everybody had my best interest at heart that came near me. Poor little Tink Tink was so mistaken. So many times I've been duped and disappointed, finding out that the person that I thought I was dealing with, I was not. They were showing me a mask. They were putting on a face to pretend as though they were something that they were not. It's cool. All cool, because every day is a learning experience. I've been in pain physically. Excuse me. I have to close my curtain because this sun is beautiful, but it's shining too much. It's a distraction. Just a second. Let me pause. If you notice that my hair is different, because it is. It fell down while I was trying to change close the curtain. But whatever. And of course it made it darker in the room, so I had to turn the light on. But anyway, so, I just realized I have on my colors, boo. Blue and orange. I'm from Chi-Town, baby. If you don't know what blue and orange is, get your life. Because, boo, we the ish. Even though we losing every freaking game for the past 4 games, whatever. But anyway, so, again, this is a test of the emergency broadcast system, because right now, broadcasting needs to be emergent. Okay, so, in my journey, I've realized, of course, that there are a lot of differences in this world. A lot. So much so that is, like I said, it is affecting my interactions with people. I'm not completely in a hermit mode, but I'm not completely, extrovert either, because I don't want to be with people at this moment. It's not because I don't like people, because I do love people. People are, different, eclectic, eccentric. They're different. And we need differences. Otherwise, this world will be boring. But some people do not have your best interest at heart. And we realize that the hard way, unfortunately. So, in my journey of learning, I realized that mental health issues are directly connected to, of course, traumatic incidents that may have happened in your past, painful incidents that may have happened in your past, coupled with Nobody wants to believe this. And they're definitely not teaching this in schools. But your direct relation to your diet. Your diet. Say it with me. Diet. Things that you put into your mouth. Foods that you eat. So, of course, I grew up a junk food junkie. Okay? Even to this day, 42 years old, I'm a junk food junkie. I do not deny that from anybody. The first form of healing is to acknowledge your pain and your problems so that you can, put it out there, let it be known so that you can make the changes for yourself that you need to make. I try to tell this to my kids, please. It's like talking to a brick wall. But I know they love me. And at some point, I noticed that what I've been teaching them, they have absorbed to this point, up to an extent, because some of them at an age where they feel like they don't have to listen to mommy anymore, and mommy's outdated. She don't know what she's talking about, but it's fine because, of course, as they noticed before, normally what I say ends up becoming truth. They have to accept it, and there's no denying it. So, my point is, just to give you an example, I noticed some years ago when I tried to become a vegan without fail, I knew so much that I was like, I can't see these things in the stores and not know how unhealthy they are for me and my children. Reading so much, I'm like, oh, come on. The internet is a blessing and a curse at the same time. Okay? But it's okay because when you know better, you do better, so to speak. So I've been trying to do. I mean, yeah, I lost 73 pounds over the last year. Has it been a year? It's been about a year. I've been fluctuating back and forth because, of course, the struggle is real. Them drugs, what we call the food industry, OMG, the stuff is everywhere. Just imagine if I was a crackhead, okay? Excuse my expression. But if I was somebody who was literally on, actual drugs that was like, I needed a fix. I got a fix on every freaking corner. Okay? Fix at my fingertips if you got Instacart. Okay? Fix everywhere. I can get up in the middle of the night. Of course, if I have a mobile, get up in the middle of the night and run my butt to the gas station down the street if I'm in that bad of a Jones. Okay? So, come on. It's hard every day. Every day. Of course, my mentor, nutritionist, certified herbalist, and friend has told me multiple times the type of things that I could do to combat these Joneses that I have, for junk food. I remember she was mentioning B complex. She mentioned something else. I wrote it down. It might be even in my phone, but either way, those things had an effect on my mental. It had an effect on my children's mental when they needed a fix. We were in a financial crunch. This is something else that I needed to mention. In a financial crunch, we could not afford the vegan options, the more organic options, the more natural options, the more healthier options. We didn't have access to the fresh markets and, what's the markets are called on the corners with the pop-up markets? Okay. See, brain fog, something I need to get fixed for that. I know it's something, I think, focus attention from Nature Sunshine. But anyway, yeah, plug. But all over the place. Yeah. That's that chemical in my brain that's telling me, yeah, I need more sugar. Sugar, please. But I think it's 5 times more addictive than heroin, which is absolutely insane. But back to my story originally, a few years ago when I was trying to be a vegan and I introduced this lifestyle to my children. Of course, they screamed and kicked because they don't understand that they can't have the sugar. They can't have the breads. They can't have the dairy. They can't have the juices and the pops, and they can't have the pancakes and the cakes and the cookies. They can't have all of that anymore. So, oh my God, losing their minds. So I'm stuck being a mother of 4 children who were like losing it. They were having some serious mental meltdowns and fighting each other and arguing and scraping and scratching. Oh, it was something. But at one point or another, of course, money ran out. I didn't have it to continue to purchase. So, of course, it was either that or starve at this point, because I knew all of these things that were harming us mentally, emotionally, physically. I mean, absolutely insane how it all directly connects with each other. Fast forward a little bit further, my children couldn't help that. My oldest 3 were okay. They had enough fat stored that it was no big deal. They didn't mind going a few days, not days, but a few hours or so without food. They were good with that. But my youngest, at the time, I believe he was like 4 or 5. He had the least body fat. And it affected him the worst. To the point where I was even scared for his life. Because he couldn't, I gave him water, he'd throw it back up. I give him an apple, he ate it to a certain extent, but ended up throwing that back up. He was so weak and practically emaciated. And I'm looking like, is it weird that he was living off junk food? Like, he was living off the junk food that, the processed meats and the processed foods, period. I mean, he was living off of that stuff. He was good. Had energy for days, bouncing off the walls. Boy used to flip and jump all over stuff. And I'm just, soon as I took that junk food out of his system, it was like somebody was trying to strangle him. He was laid out. And it scared the life out of me. And I had to reach out to family and friends like, okay, so I'm in a financial bind. We can't eat the same no more. But at this point, I'm feeling like I have to, in order to keep my children alive until we can figure something out, to do this gradually instead of all at once, because it was a shock to our system. The beneficial part of that, though, I'm not going to just mention the bad part, because at the time we were financially unstable, but the better part of it was the kids stopped screaming and hollering at each other. They stopped fighting. They were all jovial and happy and laughing and giggly. And I'm just looking like, what has gotten into y'all? But that's not what's gotten into them. It was what came out of them. They lost weight, healthy weight. My youngest son, again, he didn't take it as well compared to the other 3 kids at the time. The youngest son didn't take it as well. And that's why I said I ended up having to, just compromise with the junk food. But of course, once you open that door back up, it's hard to close it again. So we went some years with that, with junk food being the natural source of nourishment in this house, until I was able to financially provide the more natural, organic, healthy options. They saw me recently losing all this weight, and they looking at me like, what are you doing? What are you doing to lose all the weight? We don't see you exercising. Just losing stored fat from toxins that have been stored in my body, because my body didn't know what to do with the toxins. So it stored it as fat. because I didn't exercise. Uh-uh. I started a kickboxing class recently. It was killing me, especially with the diet that I was on. I went from being an intermittent faster to having to eat again for 4 and 5 times a day. Small little meals, but that was hard for me. I was okay with the intermittent fasting because I was kind of already doing that already. By default, I can go out. I mean, I probably realize I'm hungry at 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. Whole day has passed. Mind you, I have a 9 to 5 job. So by the time I get home from work, I'm not even hungry, really. I'm just sleepy. I want to go to bed. But my body goes, uh, you haven't eaten all day. Oh, okay. Maybe I need to get something to eat. And I'm like, okay, I was told about intermittent fasting from a family member because there was an issue of borderline diabetes. And I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe I could try that and see to keep me from getting diabetes, do intermittent fasting. Let me try that. And literally it worked for me. I don't know about nobody else, but it worked for me. It literally is like somebody flushing the toilet. Okay. So we're not even going there, but at the same time, you get my drift. And it's just leaving me. And all I have to buy a new wardrobe because all my clothes don't fit no more. It's like literally swallowing me up. Good, bad problem. Okay. I've been gradually building back up my, wardrobe slowly. Because of course I have more than 4 kids now. 6, but the oldest is grown. The oldest 2 have jobs. So I don't have to get them, give them any money or do anything for them. They actually help me out. Thank God. Okay. Thank God. Thank the Lord. But at the same time, they doing jobs that I don't think that they like. They just doing it for money. And I wish that they wouldn't, it perpetuates the cycle of this evil world that we're in, to just work, 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 have no life, but work, 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 like you're a robot. But, excuse me, it's something to be said about how we were raised, something to be said about how we were taught, that all of these years, like I said, I'm 42, loud and proud, boo. Black may gray, but it don't crack. Okay. Anyway, so in the 42 years I've been here, of course, I was in public schools my whole life. I only had 1 year of private, but I didn't really see much of a difference in that private school compared to the public schools, because the same issues that I was running into in public schools, I ran into in that private school. It was no damn difference. I think I had more fights in the private school than I had in the damn public school. Ain't that something? But anyway. So, of course, mental health is directly related to your physical health and vice versa. If you're not feeling good on the inside, it don't matter how much makeup you put on. It don't matter how much you get done to your hair. What kind of clothes you put on. It's a mess in there. And it's going to look like a mess out there. Okay? So, I'm just saying, is this a beginning marker of the rest of my journey in learning a better way of, I guess, walking to a better health for myself. Because death, I'm sorry, can't nobody convince me that death is natural. And especially not natural at a young age, when you still have family or children who depend on you, who need you. It's not healthy. And I have to start at home and work my way around, because this information needs to go out to as many people as possible. Don't think for a second, I don't care what nobody say, that you need these medications to get you right because the medications didn't get you wrong. It's how you've been eating, how you are feeding your blood cells, how you are replenishing and nourishing your body. That is a natural healer of itself. You don't need a lot of that stuff. Now, life-saving events, understandably, of course, for life-saving purposes, absolutely. But to live the rest of your life on these things, nobody, no. And of course, the government don't want to teach you this. They're definitely not letting you learn this in school. And you are absolutely not going to hear this on mainstream media. So you got to do the research for yourself, just as I did. Because I've always been that type. I don't just take what people say as face value. I learn. I have to go and search for myself. And the crazy part about it is the information is out here. So I've heard growing up, well, you want to hide something from a nigga and put it in a book. Oh, maybe I need to be picking up some books. And that's exactly what I've been doing. Because ain't nobody hiding nothing from me. Now, in conclusion of that, I got a book coming to you soon. Be looking for it.